Every year, hundreds of thousands of pets are lost or stolen, leaving behind devastated families. It doesn't have to be this way. PediMark microchips store all the information you need to get your pet home safely. No need for that sometimes stressful trip to the vet. Visit PediMark.com today and a qualified microchip implanter can visit your home to microchip your pet in comfort. Quick, easy and safe. PediMark, helping your best friend get home. PediMark, proud sponsors of Pets for Life.
Hello and welcome to Pets for Life. We're here to help you make the best decision for you, your family and your pet. With around half of all homes in the UK owning a pet, it's clear that we are a nation of animal lovers. But despite the joy and positives these cute companions bring us, there is still a deepening problem. Pet abandonments are on the rise. In fact, in December 2010, the RSPCA reported startling record high rates of animal abandonment in this country. With the average lifespan cost of owning a dog being around £9,000, owning a pet is not a simple decision. They require a great deal of care, attention and reliable home environment. Providing your pets with a happy and healthy environment in which to live should be a major consideration for anyone thinking of getting a pet. And throughout this programme, we aim to help you make informed and responsible choices when considering bringing a new pet into your home. We recently visited the Blue Cross to find out what they had to say regarding responsible pet ownership.
If someone's looking for a pet, it's really important to do a bit of research and look at your own lifestyle, how much time you have to spend with a pet, how much space, how much it might cost, how long you need to be at work during the day, and that has a big impact on the kind of animal you should get. Maybe if you're not going to be at home so much, you might prefer to get a cat or a more independent animal, a small animal, rather than a dog or a horse. So these are all the kind of considerations, and there's an awful lot of information on our website and on lots of different websites about this. You could also visit shows like Crufts and maybe learn a little bit more about different breeds of dog. There are horse shows and cat shows as well, so there's lots of research you can do, and obviously come to people like the Blue Cross. We can help match you to the right pet. A lot of people, when they go about buying a pet, do realise that it is a huge commitment for the lifetime of that pet, and they do put a lot of research into it. Sometimes we do see people that may not have considered everything that is involved with a particular breed or a particular animal, and that's where sometimes we find a mismatch in the home, and that's why they end up being given up. So we do always advise people to do so much research before they take on an animal. This is going to be a member of your family for the next 15-20 years. It's really important that you get it right from the outset.
So it can be really important to sort of train recall, so that obviously when you're taking your dog out into public places and letting it off lead, it is going to be coming back to you. So you can use your garden and get all the family involved with a really good way of training recall. And children as well, they can like set up mini ramps and that in the garden, so you can create your own mini agility paddock, and training dogs to sit in hoops and things in the garden as well. We use what we call positive reinforcement techniques, which is through the use of a clicker. So that's quite a positive way of obviously reinforcing natural behaviours. So we always use food and a clicker, and all dogs are clicker trained here at the centre, and that's something we would encourage owners to continue in the home. Dogs do need space, and it's important to consider the size of the dog for the area that you have. So for example, it's no good having a Great Dane living in a flat necessarily, just because of the sheer room the dog needs, as well as the people living in it as well.
The percentage of overweight dogs is rising, and rising surprisingly quickly. Diet has a great effect on the quality of life of your dog, and overweight pets are less active, find movement more difficult, and are more likely to develop serious medical conditions, as well as severe changes in personality. We spoke to Zara Boland from Purina Pro Plan. She told us more about canine dietary requirements.
For over 80 years, Purina have been committed to putting high quality ingredients and breakthrough science into all their advanced nutrition products. And that advanced nutrition goes across the entire portfolio of the Purina range, but never more so in the case of ProPlan. Really good example of the science that goes into one of our advanced nutrition products is our ProPlan Senior diet, which incorporates medium chain triglycerides as a functional nutrient. It's quite a mouthful, but effectively what that is and what it does is it's derived from coconut oil, and actually has the effect, a proven scientific effect, of increasing memory in aging dogs, increasing trainability, improving their attention span, increasing and strengthening the bond between owner and pet because of that improved memory and cognition effectively. A really good example of Purina's investment in science and the science that goes behind their advanced nutrition is the 14-year landmark study that they conducted in collaboration with 5 different universities. And this was a really good demonstration of their commitment, Purina's commitment to helping pets live longer, healthier and ultimately happier lives. The main finding of the study was that by keeping dogs to ideal body condition, you could actually extend their lifespan by 15%, which when you think about the average age of a Labrador, that actually gives them an extra 2 years of life, which is significant, really, really huge. And if you actually compare that to the human equivalent, it's almost 10 years of human life that we're adding just by looking at ideal body condition and keeping that ideal body condition on them. The other really, really interesting finding from the study was that by keeping our dogs to ideal body condition as they go through their lives, what we discovered is that it actually delays the onset of many, many age-associated chronic conditions such as arthritis. So there are some really key benefits to being sure that you're aware and regularly doing body condition scoring on your own dog at home, not only in helping them live a healthy, happy, longer life, but also delay onset of some of those old age associated diseases.
It is very easy to overfeed an animal, and there's a quote about, if I were to eat 2 chocolate biscuits, you might think, well, that's fine for me, but if I gave my dog 2 chocolate biscuits, that would be the equivalent of the dog eating the whole pack. So we've got to remember they are different species from us and can't maybe cope with the types of foods and the amounts of foods that we're eating. I think it's also important to remember if feeding scraps and feeding from the plate is actually maybe encouraging bad manners, and so to really think about when you're feeding your dog and make it, you can make it an exercise, you can make the dog do something for its food so that food actually becomes more valuable. If you've got the food or the biscuit or the treat that you're going to give your dog under your control, get the dog to do a trick for it, get him to actually use his brain to work out, how am I going to get that food? You want me to sit? Maybe I'll give you my paw. Oh, this is brilliant. And then that food actually has much more value to that dog, and you can actually use it as a tool to create your dog, do a bit of training or get your dog doing something useful for you, rather than just feeding it scraps. I think, it's easy to equate sort of, I love my dog so much, I'm just, he wants the chicken, I'm going to give him the chicken. But actually, loving the dog is without question, but actually, caring for the dog's needs appropriately, maybe not giving him that whole chicken and thinking about what actually he needs and how best to give that to him.
In the UK, almost 2.5 million dogs are fed human leftovers, and nearly every owner gives their dogs treats. Often, this feeding occurs as an extra to regular meals and is undoubtedly contributing to what is fast becoming an obesity epidemic in our dogs. As pet owners, we have a responsibility to educate ourselves as to the best nutritional needs of our pets. We also need to be aware of when our dog is putting on weight and is being overfed. Only a third of owners will actually feel their dog's body to identify changes in weight. Zara Boland tells us more about how to tackle obesity in dogs.
The biggest challenge that we face here in the UK in terms of tackling the growing obesity issue is actually raising people's awareness that there is an issue in the first place. Being overweight and being obese comes about through a variety of different factors. Now that's predominantly a combination of inappropriate feeding or overfeeding combined with lack of exercise or insufficient exercise. So Purina have worked really, really hard at trying to tackle this awareness problem. There are an awful lot of tools and support and advice that they can provide, but some really simple things to do and be aware of that you can do yourself with your dog is making sure that you feed an appropriate diet for your own dog. So that's appropriate to their life stage, their time of life, the type of lifestyle that they live, and also any existing health conditions that they might have. The ProPlan 5-point promise can be summed up in 5 promises. The first being that there's proven science behind the advanced nutrition in ProPlan, and this is demonstrated in all the life stage and lifestyle products, which we've proven can actually support and enhance different body systems as your dog goes through his life. So whether that's the immune system, the digestive system, or even the memory, we have the science behind it to prove it. The second promise is great taste and enjoyment, and that's demonstrated through the high quality ingredients that we put into all our products in the ProPlan range, and additionally a special proprietary method we have of cooking it. So the third promise is high digestibility, and that comes about through the carefully selected ingredients across the ProPlan range. The fourth promise is robust health and boundless vitality, and again that comes down to the ingredient selection and the combination of ingredients that goes into every dog food across the ProPlan range, which ensures that it's complete and balanced nutrition with increased protein and functional nutrients than many other pet foods on the market. And the fifth and final promise is a healthy skin and coat, and that's achieved through a great combination of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which help support and give the shine to your dog's coat.
For all the dogs who run a lot, who jump a lot and catch a lot, for those who like to be the boss a lot, or just enjoy the air a lot, who dig a lot and hide a lot, for those who spin around a lot, and the ones who put up with quite a lot, and remind us daily just what we've got. To all of these friends we love a lot, we say thank you. Win a lot with iron for vitality and protein for muscles.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of pets are lost or stolen, leaving behind devastated families. It doesn't have to be this way. PediMark microchips store all the information you need to get your pet home safely. No need for that sometimes stressful trip to the vet. Visit PediMark.com today and a qualified microchip implanter can visit your home to microchip your pet in comfort. Quick, easy and safe. PediMark, helping your best friend get home.
Barney loved his owner. He thought his owner would always love him. Hungry, frightened, and alone, Barney is just one of thousands of animals taken in by the Blue Cross every year because nobody wants them. Will you give just £2 a month to the Blue Cross? Will you help save the life of a homeless animal like Barney? He relies on us now, but we rely on you. £2 a month can help us go on caring day after day until we find just the right home for Barney, however long it takes.
I don't think so. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
Okay then.
Sorry, we'll look at it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Please help. Visit our website and give £2 a month. We're counting on your support.
Welcome back to Pets for Life. A pet will become a hugely popular member of the family and should be loved and treated as such. Unfortunately, sometimes our kindness and affection for our pets can be detrimental to their health. Over 2/3 of owners say that they think treats make their pet happy, and they may well do in the short term, but a prolonged period of overfeeding will only cause a pet unhappiness and health issues further down the line. We spoke to the Blue Cross about the care and love they see from owners at their animal hospital.
Having an animal in your life is, without question, it's such a brilliant thing. And to help people and animals live together happily and healthily, not just physically but also behaviourally, mentally as well. It's a really cool thing to be part of this kind of nursing profession where that's what we do for people. It's a different job from being a vet. Vets have their diagnosticians, their surgeons, and they're brilliant, and obviously we couldn't be here without our vets. But nursing is a different profession. It's more the holistic caring. It's providing the all-round care that animal needs to help it live a happy, healthy life.
Every day is a little bit different. Day to day we'll be seeing animals in our clinics. We'll have surgeries going on in our hub area, and we can be doing a variety of things from elective surgeries like spays and neuters to emergency surgeries on road traffic accidents. We'll be taking blood samples to test in our laboratory and x-rays on animals that require it. We'll also have our community nurse out in the community seeing clients that are unable to get to us for one reason or another. And we'll also have an ambulance service transporting animals to and from the Victoria Hospital.
Probably one of the only charities that have a community nurse that goes out into the community, so it's probably a very, very, very big part of the Blue Cross, and we help obviously quite a lot of people that can't get in, that obviously their animals is their only company, some of them, so it's a big part of their life that I go in and look after their animals for them. So I provide a vital part of going in looking after their animals, and also doing it in their home. They obviously feel a lot happier and a lot safer, so a big part of the community. That's what I tend to do.
We see a whole combination of things at the hospital, a whole mix of things, but we might see a lot of ill and older animals as well as puppies and kittens coming in to our nurses' clinic to have a first check and to talk owners through the importance of spaying, neutering, vaccination, microchipping, all of the above, as well as animals that might need to be coming in because they're very elderly and need to be put to sleep. It really is a real mix, and that includes obviously emergencies as well.
The animals I go and see are all sort of older animals, so they've obviously already had that bond with their owner. So I think the bond between them is very strong. So it is when, unfortunately, the time comes, they are, you know, losing a member of their family. So, you know, obviously the support that we can give them through that as well is important. And obviously you get to know the person as well. So I go and see people, you know, every month or every couple of weeks. So obviously the bond that we build up is actually quite strong, and they feel like they can talk to you as well, because obviously you give them time. You know, you go in, they're in their house, they're in their own surroundings, so they're quite happy to talk to you. Whereas coming into a environment such as the hospital, sometimes they feel like you're wasting your time, and they don't want to talk about their animals.
There's an awful lot of, I guess, myth out there at the moment about food allergies versus food intolerances. The reality is that food allergies are incredibly, incredibly rare in the dog population. I think it's actually less than 1% of true food allergies that exist in the UK population. And the difference between an allergy and intolerance is actually based on our immune system and the dog's immune system. So when we talk about an allergy, we're actually talking about the dog's immune system reacting to what we'd normally consider a normal substance, and quite often it's a specific protein in the food which triggers this abnormal reaction in the body. So food intolerance, on the other hand, is actually a sensitivity to specific ingredients or nutrients within the food, and quite often it manifests as either an upset tummy, or you might get a little bit of irritated skin condition. There are products out there, and ProPlan have a great range of products that will help with any digestive upset or skin conditions that come about through a food intolerance. So if your dog has a true food allergy, the only way to actually determine it is to do what's called a food elimination trial. And so that's where you put your dog on a specific diet that's very, very, very low in potential allergen triggers. And your vet will help you to determine this. But effectively you go on a 6 to 12 week, very strictly controlled diet where there's no potential allergens in the food whatsoever, or a hypoallergenic diet in fact. And then at the end of that 6 to 12 week period, you start to very slowly and gradually reintroduce specific proteins to try and work out which one is triggering the actual allergic reaction in your dog. But ultimately, if you've got any concerns whatsoever in your dog, whether you're concerned if you've got an allergen or a simple food intolerance, the most important thing is to take your dog to the vet and get a thorough medical checkup, make sure there's no underlying reasons for any tummy upset or skin conditions, and then talk about the possibility of going on a food elimination trial.
Obviously, if people can't afford to pay vet bills, there are several charities across the UK that can assist with people on low incomes to ensure that their animals access the appropriate veterinary treatment. An animal that is in need should never go without veterinary treatment. That's so essential. In saying that, not everybody will be eligible to access our types of services, so it's so important that animals are insured, that should anything unforeseen happen with your pet, that you're able to access the care that they need. I'd also strongly advise anybody to shop around. Private practices run businesses. They can vary enormously in the costs that they charge, so it's really important that you get best value for you and your pet. And if you're ever stuck, that you actually speak to your vet about any options that might be available to you in terms of payment. A lot of vets are happy to negotiate that. Some won't, but some will. So it's really important that you always ask those questions. Never leave it because you're concerned that you can't pay.
It's really important to consider a breed when you are adopting a dog, and to research that breed and the time, and obviously its needs as well. Obviously costs and that are an important factor to consider as well. But for example, it's no good sort of considering a collie for adoption if you live in sort of a really built up area and you haven't got much sort of off-lead opportunities, because that's a really key thing that a collie will need, is those opportunities to go off-lead, to have that natural chase drive behaviour, and to obviously tunnel that in an appropriate way.
Here at the Blue Cross, we would never put a healthy animal down just for the want of a home, but we are aware that around the country we have a huge problem with stray animals, and particularly with stray dogs. We estimate that over 100,000 dogs are stray on our streets every year, and they're taken in by local authorities, by dog wardens, but every one of those dogs is at risk of being put to sleep if it's not claimed by its owner, and that's a tragic statistic. And we do everything we can here at the Blue Cross to try and prevent those animals becoming stray. And one of the most important things people can do is actually microchip their animal. It's a small chip that contains their owner's contact details, and if they ever become lost or stolen, they can be reunited and they won't be at risk of being put to sleep.
Well, on my right here we've got Kira, and she's a beautiful working Cocker Spaniel. She's only 3.5 years old, and she's in absolutely great condition. And on my left we've got Porter, who's an absolutely stunning Harlequin Great Dane at the ripe old age of 8. And actually it's a great example of how different nutrition provides different benefits to different dogs. So the Pro Plan range specifically has a diet for robust, large, healthy breed dogs such as Porter, and a very different formulation and diet for small, medium-sized dogs or working dogs like Kira. So it's very important that you feed the correct nutrition based on breed, as well as life stage and lifestyle.
Get it! Come on! Here, here, come.
Right, you ready? She's a Staffy Cross called Kira.
Good girl!
Part of what we do at the Blue Cross with dogs is a life skills programme. The life skills programme is just about teaching dogs good manners so that they fit into family life and they fit into the public life that they're going to have to engage in. And we teach them all the basic things: how to greet people properly, how to greet dogs properly, to sit and lie down, come when called, and how to play appropriately as well, because play is massively important to a dog's mental health and well-being, and it also forms fantastic relationships. So being able to play appropriately is really important for a dog. Good lad, what we're going to do, and then you can start doing more advanced things. So you can teach him left from right. Harry, left. That was right. Left. Good lad. Right. Right. That's better. Good boy. So you can take it to quite high levels. But basically you need a dog who comes when you call. Harry, come. Yay, good boy.
We work with and try and rehabilitate any dog that comes to us to the best of our ability. We obviously need to assess if it is safe to rehome and is safe around other dogs and people. Obviously we wouldn't want to rehome anything that was dangerous. But we will rehome any dog that is fit and healthy. We have a dedicated behavioural department at the Blue Cross, so anything that is a little bit more intense or quite a severe behavioural problem, we will refer to them and they will come and assist us and give us all their sort of experience and expertise to try and help that dog.
As head of behaviour, I look at how the welfare of the animals actually in our care. So we're looking at the psychological welfare as well as the physical welfare. We're also looking at rehabilitating and retraining animals. With dogs in particular, lack of training is a big problem. The majority of animals we get through here can't even sit on command, which if you've got a dog that's out of control, it means you can't take it to places, so it becomes excluded, it's not part of the family, you don't form a good relationship with it, so it's easy to give it up. It's really important to train any dog, but if you've got children, it's really important that dogs have good manners, just like your children have good manners. And you teach them in exactly the same way. You show them what you want and you reward them for doing what you want. There's some really good basic tips that people need to train all the dogs to do. One of them is coming back when called. If your dog reliably comes back when you call it, it's far more likely to allow it to off-lead so you can run around and enjoy life and work off some energy. Other things, sitting and staying, so that if you drop something on the floor you can clean it away. If you're eating, the dog's not pestering you. It's a basic good manners.
We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Tune in next week when we will again be joined by the Blue Cross to learn more about our animal friends. See you then.